Jamaica, or Jamaica, as it was known to the Arawak, who lived in peace among themselves until the arrival of the Spanish fleet in 1494. The Spanish came in search of gold. They found no treasures, but instead a cheap source of labor. And the Arawaks were quickly driven into submission to work in fields and mines. The Spain wanted the whole Jamaica. They needed new slaves. They crossed the Atlantic Ocean and settled on West Africa. Not every ship returned to Jamaica. Some Africans chose open rebellion. Through ignorance and greed, Jamaican slavery became one, with the slave trade ruling the island. Those slaves who had escaped during the British invasion, they became known as Maroons. Wild plants provided a steady source of food in the farthest reaches of the forest. The early Maroons were famous for their skill in hunting around the deeper mountains of Jamaica. After they claimed freedom in the island's mountainous interior, they shared their culinary traditions. Among these traditions, it was jerk. To help preserve the meat, Maroons created a special method of preparation called jerking. They seasoned the meat with salt and pepper and left aside to marinate over time for tenderization. It was then roasted on fire. The Maroons couldn't risk being discovered by their oppressors, so instead of cooking over open flames, they would cook in underground smokeless pits. They had to sustain themselves without revealing their locations. If they cooked over an open fire, the smoke would betray them. The jerking method has been adopted by other Jamaicans, and today jerk chicken has become a favorite dish on the island. Therefore, jerk isn't just a part of the soul of Jamaica's cuisine culture. It's also the binding legacy at a time of a great struggle. Ferguson puts it best: jerk is freedom manifested in food. Wherever Jamaicans settle, they bring jerk with them. This sense of cultural belonging is not enclosed within national borders, but overflows them. Retained in the Caribbean and African diasporas, it enables the creation of a discourse that rethinks the effective meaning of belonging to a place or a culture. But before, in the 1700s, Peckham was mostly a farming community. Cattle drovers used Peckham village, as it was known then, as a stopping place before going on to the markets of London. Exotic fruits such as melons, figs and grapes were all grown here. As the transport system improved, Peckham began to grow and has become a destination of displacement for many communities. like the Jamaicans. Displacement is the action of moving something from its place and its position. So when something is moving from point A to point B, it's also not in the same position anymore. Peckham High Street now is home to many cultures living together, sharing their rituals of eating. Unlike an ordinary high street, food is the most dominant element on the street. All the food that have been displaced from all over the world is now blended with the new identity of the new setting that they're in, so now it creates a hybrid identity. On a displaced setting, the shop fronts represent the desired authenticity with objects or rituals. And the jerk chicken of Jamaica is found in various forms on site. Sometimes in a little deli that plays Jamaican reggae music and have posters of Jamaican artists all over the place. Sometimes in a big restaurant like the Prince of Peckham, that's a British pub and serves Sunday jerk on Sundays instead of Sunday roast. But I realize that it's mostly consumed outside, most preferably from a takeout place on Peckham Library Square. This is Soul Fuel. It's a takeout place that only serves jerk chicken and sides in a box, and it doesn't have any seating area other than these 3 chairs with a table in front of it. And is one of the many takeout spots that were once here under the Peckham Library Square. Peckham Library Square lies on the only intersection point of the Peckham High Street and Rye Lane, the 2 main streets of Peckham. Due to its very special location and the vibrant lifestyle in Peckham, it then becomes a point of everyday intersections around the daily rituals of individuals and community groups. It is only enclosed vertically by a 14-meter tall canopy with 2 circular openings that look up to the sky and brings the skylight down during different times of the day. The square had always been the heart of Peckham, as well as being the main location for gatherings around food, as it brings various food options from different cultures under the same canopy. As Michael Pollan writes in his manifesto, the shared meal elevates eating from a mechanical process of fueling the body to a ritual of family, from the mere animal biology to an act of culture and community. This act of community in Peckham is explored in 3 scales, being the plate, table, and the space. Sometimes, it's not necessarily an enclosed space, but an outdoors area that wasn't originally made for eating becomes one. My project combines the 2 and proposed a new, displaced and hybrid way of cooking and eating the jerk chicken to the Peckham Library Square. The cooking was done underground when the Maroons first came up with jerk chicken in Jamaica. They had to prevent the exposed smoke because they couldn't risk revealing their locations. My project brings the smoke back to Peckham each time a barbecue is lit, as a way of celebrating their existence on a new setting. She lives in Peckham, arrives on a bike, leaves the bike to the rack the first thing, then goes to the cooking area. It's almost lunchtime, so she checks the fresh ingredients that she has in the fridge. She's out of the paprika peppers. Goes up to the roof garden to pick them up. She goes back down and takes the marinated chicken that was waiting since last night and leaves them on the barbecue for them to get ready until lunchtime. barbecue is now heated up and the smoke starts going around the space and up the chimney. It already smells delicious. Someone is picking up their online order on the way. Today is a special Sunday because there's a football game screening at 2 p.m. Some people have already started going up to watch the game from there. Once they get to the first floor, they get distracted by the exhibition space, which exhibits everything that was done to get the space to its stage now. But then, they settle there with beers before the game starts. The game is finished and the cooking is done. People leave the space. There is no smoke anymore. But the metal tiles are placed on the memory wall to record each barbecue that was ever lit here. And after all that is left is the experience of gathering through a new form of a daily ritual.